Hi, my name is Caden. I run the page KS_kicks on Instagram, and this is my breakdown of the current sneaker market and why it's in the state that it's in right now. Recently, you've been hearing talk about Nike and Jordan Brand being dead. There's no hype anymore. Simply, that's just not true. If anything, there's more demand than there's ever been. I'm not an economist by any chance. I'm just a reseller that has experience in the market and can spot patterns and trends pretty easily. So that's what I'm going to be applying to this video. Starting off with the economy. It says right there, nobody has money. Obviously, that's not true. You have money, I have money. But how much extra money do you have to spend on the new Jordans that drop on Saturday, or the ones that drop next week, or the shoes you've been wanting for the past few months on StockX? The truth is, not as much money as you had a few years ago. And that's the same thing with everybody. Combine that with retail prices. We saw men's dunks go from 95 to 120. You saw men's Jordan 4s go from 200 to 230. Combine those two things together, and people just aren't buying it. Or there's not as much people buying it as there was before. Not because they don't want it or they don't like it. It's because they can't afford it. And people have to choose rent and lighting and water over damn shoes. So getting into the next part, we're talking about supply and demand. There's too much supply. For example, we saw the Jordan 4 white cements that dropped a few months ago, back in October, I believe. We saw 1 million pairs released on the sneakers app. We saw over 1 million released in stores just across the United States. That is a lot of pairs that are just not going to get consumed. They're going to be sitting on shelves, they're going to be sitting on the sneakers app, they're going to be sitting online. And that brings us to the next part. No buyers to support the market. Right there on the top, you see the Jordan 4 Cave Stone sitting right there on the shelf. You see the Jordan 5 Fire Reds, and you see the Chicago Lows. All those are super cool, good-looking shoes that people were excited for, and they're sitting on shelves. Why? It's because there's not enough consumers to consume them. Nike's releasing too much, the retail prices are too high, people can't afford it. Simple as that. So what do? You don't give up, you do what you can. This has been my method for the past year or so. I've been doing it for a few years. The market does play around and has its highs and has its lows, but the Nike factory and clearance stores outlets are always reliable. Checking what's discounted, checking the walls, swapping the boxes, selling on StockX, selling on eBay. That's all stuff that everybody and anybody can do. In my opinion, the best way to make money in this market is simply predicting the market. What do I mean by that? So 2 shoes that I really wish I invested more in that went under retail when they dropped was the Kobe Dodgers and the Kobe Total Oranges. Could have bought a lot of those at around $200. Right now, a few months later, they're sitting at $350. That's a 30 to 40% turnover that I could have put right in my pocket if I would have just put my money in the right shoe. And why did those shoes do so well? Well, it's a solid blue colorway and a solid orange colorway of a Kobe model that is extremely popular right now. And why did they do that? Why did they go up? Why were they so far down when they released? It's because resellers weren't touching them. There was too much supply for consumers to consume. They sat on shelves. Slowly, consumers were consuming them. And then when people are looking to buy them during Christmas time on StockX, no resellers or really anybody has pairs to sell because nobody was touching them when they were that low. So if you have the self-discipline to start investing in a shoe when it's at its lowest and maybe wait for 3 months for your money to turn over, 30 to 40% is pretty good. If you're investing in the stock market and you're expecting 20% for the year, that's a whole lot better. You're almost doing triple that, quadruple that, just investing in sneakers. So people are saying that the sneaker market is dead. It's just simply not true. They're just not doing it properly, or they don't know how. And this is the methods that I have found successful on how to make money in this current market. So if you've gotten this far, I appreciate it, and follow my socials.